We're watching this breaking news this morning out of New Jersey. Authorities looking into another suspicious package, a backpack with up to 5 improvised explosive devices or homemade bombs found at a train station. One of the devices explodes as a police robot tries to disarm it this morning. Watch this.
The small explosion took place in Elizabeth, New Jersey. The backpack was found in a garbage can outside of a crowded pub not far from a train station. A train service has since resumed this morning after it was halted for hours. 2 men located the bag around 9:30 last night, called police when they noticed wiring and a pipe. The remaining 4 devices will be taken to Virginia for analysis. This comes after a pipe bomb exploded in a garbage can on Saturday about an hour away in Seaside Park. It happened near a Marine Corps charity race. It was set to take place. No one was injured there. Luckily, the race started later than expected. Otherwise, the situation could have been far worse. Investigators found 3 pipe bombs wired together, but only one had detonated.
Those events in New Jersey have yet to be officially connected to an explosion Saturday night in Chelsea in New York. At least 5 people have been detained, though, after the bomb shattered windows and injured 29 people. All have been released from hospital, thank goodness. Investigators trying to identify a suspicious man spotted on surveillance cameras. He was also seen a few blocks away dropping off a package that later was found to contain an explosive pressure cooker. That didn't go off. Not clear if he was one of the 5 men detained leaving Staten Island last night. Police believe the group was heading to the airport, possibly, they say, to flee the country. So, as you could understand and expect, security now heightened around New York as world leaders, including our Prime Minister, are beginning to arrive this week for the UN General Assembly that begins tomorrow. Federal authorities say all explosions and pipe bombs in New York and New Jersey are described as being acts of terrorism.
The FBI also investigating a stabbing attack at a Minnesota mall as a potential act of terrorism. 8 people were injured when a man dressed in security uniform wielded a knife. The attacker reportedly made references to Allah and may have asked at least one person if they were Muslim. He was eventually shot dead by an off-duty police officer. ISIS has since claimed the unidentified attacker was a supporter, but the FBI has yet to confirm a link to the extremist group.
Now, of course, these cases actually are changing by the hour. New information coming out. We'll be watching any new developments in this developing story throughout the morning here on Breakfast Television as the rush hour is starting to get underway now in New York and New Jersey. Meantime, here in Toronto, a group of students safe and sound after a fire in their basement apartment in the city's north end. The tenants were making some French fries around midnight when the blaze started. Firefighters making quick work of the fire. 2 people treated at the scene for minor smoke inhalation. No word yet on the exact amount of damage. Firefighters, so they need to remind us, cooking with oil can be dangerous. To prevent flare-ups, avoid letting oil come into direct contact with flames. And seriously, keep a pot lid near you. If a fire breaks out in a frying pan or something, you can put it out simply by putting a pot lid on top of it.
Yep. And if you buy one of those mini fire extinguishers, just have it ready. That's it.
And I don't know why they were making French fries at midnight. I'm not going to draw any conclusions.
Yeah, don't even attempt to draw conclusions. All right. Well, one man is in custody after pulling a knife on board a bus near Dufferin and Bloor. Police were called by transit operators just before midnight last night. Reports say the suspect was drinking before he took out the weapon. All the occupants fled before any harm could be done. The suspect was arrested without incident.
6:07 on Breakfast Television. A potential strike at GM's Oshawa plant could be just hours away. The union representing auto workers threatening job action if the company does not commit to future production at the site by tonight's midnight deadline. Currently, no promise of any new projects at the Oshawa plant beyond 2019. GM says it won't discuss future commitments until a collective agreement is signed. Not just Oshawa workers at the center of these labor talks. The union's contracts with all of the country's big 3 automakers expire at midnight tonight. But the union, as usual, is picked and targeted one threatening strike at Oshawa's GM plant, putting pressure on the company to bring new products and job security to the facility. About 2,400 Unifor workers are at the Oshawa plant.
Well, Sully has landed at the top of the box office for the 2nd week in a row.
Get it? He's landed at the top.
Sully, kilo. Sully. Sully, where are you?
The heroic, based on a true story flick brought in $22 million this weekend, spot on from projections last week. The dramatic movie dropped 37% since opening.
Dual engine loss at 2,800 feet.
And coming in second this week, a disappointing Blair Witch with a measly $9.7 million in its first week. It was expected to bring in more than double that amount. And coming in third for the weekend is Bridget Jones's Baby with $8.2 million.
Of course, a little later on, we're going to take a look at some of the winners at TIFF. La La Land doing quite well.
Very well.
As it is closed out for yet another year. We're going to be chatting with Adam just how successful was this year's TIFF. And in a moment, I'm going to be asking you something about your favorite convenience store. We'll be right back. It's 6:09.